Alright guys, today we're talking about compound interest. So we've talked about simple interest where we had that I equals PRT and also the A equals P times 1 plus RT. Compound interest changes a little bit in the fact that the interest is computed on the original principal, like simple interest, as well as any interest that you've generated as well. So what that means is that if you, let's say, start out with $1,000, and that was getting multiplied by 5% per year, so that would end up giving you $1,050 after 1 year. Now, when we went into year 2 though, the calculation would instead be off of $1,050 times that 0.05, giving us now $1,105 at the end. So that'd be after 2 years. So it takes into account the amount of interest that you're generating and recalculates off of that. And this is actually how like savings accounts work. Any interest that's generated, you're going to continue to generate interest on. Different kinds of accounts work this way. Some loans work this way, although it depends on the loan. That's why you want to be kind of careful, because if it's calculated as simple interest, which I think car loans are primarily simple interest, that's a big difference than, say, a loan that was calculating off of your interest every year, so you end up paying a crap ton of money in interest. So like student loans, a lot of student loans work that way, where if you pay them off faster, you end up paying less money. So the example we're going to look at here is we're going to first talk about compound interest that's paid yearly. So when it's paid yearly, it means that, like the example I gave above, where it's calculating each year, that's what we're talking about. So our formula for compound interest paid yearly is A equals P times 1 plus R, and then outside of that we have time, except for now it's an exponent of t. So our values are all the letters mean exactly the same thing. A is our future value, P is our principal or present value, R is our rate, that's in a percentage, and then T is time, and again, it's also represented by years. So our example one here, it says that suppose you have a deposit of $2,000. So you have a deposit of $2,000, I'm going to highlight this in red, $2,000 in a savings account in a hometown bank, which has a rate of 6%. So I'm going to highlight the 6% in green. We have two tasks here. We want to find the amount A of the money in the account after 3 years. So this is going to be our 3 years. We are given a time, and it tells us that we want to find A. So really, we're looking for that future value. We want to know what the amount of the value is going to be in the account, and then we're going to calculate how much of that was interest, how much of that is on top of it. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite out our formula here. So it's going to be A equals P times 1 plus our rate, and that's going to be raised to our time, which is a lowercase t, and it is an exponent. So something to keep in mind is that the 1 there is a 1. It's not an L, it's not a variable, it is 1. And so what it represents is that principal of 2,000, because if you multiply the principal times 1, it's going to give itself. So I'm going to go ahead and substitute out things that I can here. So we are looking for A. We want to know what that future value is. And that's going to be equal to our principal, which we're told that our present value, or our principal, the amount that we put in, is $2,000. So P is going to become 2,000. This 1 plus is going to stay the same. Our rate, or R, is 6%, so I'm going to convert that to a decimal. It's 0.06. Don't forget that you move the decimal place 2 places to the left going there. And then our time is 3 years, so I don't have to do any conversion to years because it's already in years, so it's going to be a 3 there. So we end up with A equals 2,000 times 1 plus 0.06 to the third power. Now, the convenient thing about this is that it's actually already set up, so we could plug this into a calculator, but I'm going to do this a little incrementally here for this example. So I'm going to bring down the 2,000. I'm going to do what's inside the parentheses first. So I'm going to do that 1 plus 0.06. Now, if I do that, it gives us 1.06, because really we're just sticking those two things together. 1.06, and this is still raised to the third power. Now, at this point, I'm going to do 1.06 to the third power in the calculator. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this with the calculator. The main way I'm going to suggest is just doing 1.06 and then using the caret for that, and then to 3. And that's going to tell us that we end up with 1.191016. Now, you can go ahead and write that down on there. You could write that down there, but rather than that, I'm going to go ahead and do the multiplication by 2,000 as well as part of this. So I'm going to do answer times 2,000, and that's going to give me that my total comes out to be 2,382.032. But remember, money always rounds at that cents position or the hundredth spot, so really we're just going to cut off this 2. So when I write down this answer, our A is going to equal 2,382.03. So this would be our future value on that. So keep in mind, I did do 1.06 to the third power, but then I went ahead and multiplied it by 2,000 to make sure I wasn't rounding off. You could do the 1.06 to the third power and actually round and make it 1.19, and then go ahead and then multiply the 1.19 times the 2,000. You could do that. So this would be the answer to A. So this is the answer for A. Now B, it tells us to find the interest. And if we want to find the interest, it's pretty easy to do. We're going to take what we found for our future value. So this is part B here. We'll take what we found for our future value, that 2,382.03, and we are going to subtract out our principal of $2,000. So we start out with 2,000. Our future value is 2,382.03. We're going to subtract out that 2,000, which gives us a pretty easy answer to find because we're just taking off the 2 there. It's going to be $382.03. And this would be the amount of interest that we earned. If you have any questions, please ask me in class.